Hi, this is Jim Ave, and I'm going to go over the progress reports and courage and calling assignments that are due this week. This is the descriptions for these assignments can be found in Appendix D for the progress reports, and I think Appendix F for the courage and calling assignments. All right, so let's first talk about our progress reports. Pretty simple, not a big, difficult assignment here. All I'm asking you to do is to explain to me what you've been doing for the first 2 weeks of this class on completing your professional portfolio assignments. So that's about a paragraph. You're going to explain to me, whatever you've been doing this last 2 weeks. Hopefully you've been writing some things because we've been doing rough drafts. So you explain to me what you've been doing the last 2 weeks to complete your professional portfolio. And then you should also provide the goals that you have for the next 2 weeks. What goals do you have on accomplishing, what goals do you have to finish your professional portfolio in the next 2 weeks? All this stuff could include not only reading your courage and calling book, reading journal articles, writing your rough drafts, finding artifacts, all those things you've been doing. Because what you should demonstrate in your 1 to 2 paragraph progress report is that you've been spending 3 to 6 hours per week working on your professional portfolios. Now, in later times in this class, when you have your second progress report, you'll be doing the same thing. You're going to report what you've been doing those 2 weeks since when you turn in your first professional portfolio until I think it's week 2 after that, which is I think week 6. What have you been doing to complete that professional portfolio number 2? And what goals do you have for the next 2 weeks to complete your professional portfolio 2? So it's just pretty straightforward on providing me information on the progress you've made on your professional portfolios. The other thing that you need to provide me in your first professional progress report is the hours that you worked during weeks 1 and 2. Then you'll see in progress report 2 you have the number of hours weeks 3 through 6, and progress report 3 to weeks 7 through 10. Now all you have to do is say week 1 I worked X amount of hours, week 2 I worked X amount of hours. You do not need to explain to me anything that you're doing during those work hours. You just need to tell me the number of hours that you worked. In your progress report, you will also include your courage and calling reflection. And I'm going to go over to the next appendix, which is Appendix F. And you'll turn in your reflection in the progress report. You can start that on a new page if you want. It should be in the same file as your progress report. And what I want you to do, for your first progress report, the assigned chapter for the courage and calling is chapter 1. So you're going to read chapter 1, and then you're going to tell me what you have learned through reading chapter 1, and how can this specifically apply that material to your life, professional, personal life. So one paragraph there, 1 to 2 paragraph on how you can apply this information. Some students provide 1 paragraph on a review or summary of that chapter, and 1 paragraph on application. That's really up to you on how you want to do that. But you'll turn in chapter 1 with your first progress report. Then in your first professional portfolio, you'll read chapters 1 and 2 and turn a reflection on chapters 2 and 3. For professional portfolio 1, you'll have a reflection for that. Your progress report 2, you'll be reading chapters 4 through 6, so chapter 4, 5, and 6. Some more chapters there. You'll have a reflection on those 3 chapters. Your second professional portfolio, you'll read chapters 7 to 8 and have a reflection on that. Chapters 9 and 10 are in your third progress report. In your final progress professional portfolio, you'll read the rest of the book, chapters 11 through 12. And then on a reflection paper, you'll do a reflection on the entire book. And I'll provide for this final reflection right here. You'll discuss the book as a whole. Review what you've written over the course of the semester about the book and your vocation, and then discuss any impact the text has had on your vocational calling. What were the main takeaways from this text, and how will this impact your life, or how could it impact your life? Again, that's 1 to 2 pages. Now we're going to do all this stuff in the forum too. You're going to basically copy and paste what you wrote in these reflections here into the forum. The other thing that you'll add is I'm going to ask you to provide 1 to 2 open-ended questions that you have about the reading. Open-ended questions are questions that cannot be answered with a yes-no response. So they have to elicit more than yes, no, than that. And then what's going to happen in the forum is that you'll read 2 other students' post on courage and calling and answer those 1 or 2 open-ended questions. You will have a response back to other students. You'll notice in the forums that the initial post is typically due on a Sunday. Then you have to read and respond back to 2 other students by the next Wednesday. And then you'll see that I say that threaded discussion ends on a Friday. The reason why I say that is because that's when I won't grade the forums until the discussion has ended. So that's my end date is usually Friday at midnight. So usually I come in on Monday morning and grade all the courage and calling reflections. I'm reading during the week on people's posts just to see what's going on these forum discussions. As always, the other thing I want to say with the progress reports, since you're reporting your number of hours you work during the weeks, do not turn in your progress reports at least till Friday, because you haven't finished that week of work yet. So since you have to report your work, do not turn these assignments in until at least Friday. But typically, most students end up turning these in on Sundays. But just wanted to point that out. That's always will probably also be in Moodle.